Hello, everyone. This is the most magnificent bird, Beak, speaking to you today. And in today's video, I'm back at it with some more rating with me. And also, I'm going to do some raids because that's part of the daily challenge for the Battle Pass right now. To do 10 raids, which I'm going to go ahead and do them to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, pretty much at once. Why not? And then also, after the 10 raids, I'm going to be doing my spoiler review of the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 1, Episode 3. So, you guys will definitely be safe from that spoiler review if you don't want to know anything. But before we get started, I hope all of you are doing good and staying safe out there. I'm doing good and I'm staying safe for the most part, and hopefully everybody that lives on the East Coast, hopefully everyone was safe from Ophelia. In my area, it wasn't too bad, but I know places below me, especially North Carolina, probably New York, probably Philadelphia, probably the New England states, they probably got the worst of Ophelia. So, yeah, for me, just a bunch of rain, and it just made my internet all crappy, but, other than that, I was safe, everything was good, and hopefully those that live on the East Coast, hopefully you were safe from Ophelia as well. Enough of me just babbling on and on. Let's go ahead and jump into rating with me, shall we? Now we're going to do 10 so we can do some raids, plus I can complete the daily challenges in one fell swoop. And tomorrow, I could have done it tonight, but I'm going to wait till tomorrow. I know the new Michonne came into the game. I'll definitely be talking about her for sure. So we got some interesting characters coming into the game right now. Philip Blake, which, thinking about it, I really do like his leader skill. And Forsaken Michonne, man, she's going to be a bad mamma jamma. Oh my goodness. Dealing so much damage, it seems like, but we'll talk more about it. Man, she is Forsaken Michonne. She seems like she might be a powerhouse, honestly, for damage. But we'll definitely talk more about it in her character review. I don't know. I'm thinking about pulling for her, but I'm not 100% sure, only because of one reason. I don't know if I would be able to get all 5 copies of her. You know what I mean? I'm short, how short am I on the Ultra Mythic tokens? I think I'm 30,000 short from 300,000, which, that sucks. That really sucks for me. Because knowing my luck, if I pulled for her, I would only have the 4 or 3 copies of her, and yeah, that wouldn't be too good. But, however, if you guys want to see me pull for Forsaken Michonne, let me know down in the comments, because, whether or not if I pull for her, it all depends. If you guys want to see me pull for her, if enough of you say that you want to see me pull for her, I will pull for her. But I'm definitely thinking about it at the moment. somebody like Philip Blake, see, I could get all 5 copies of him right away because I have enough of the other tokens. Honestly, I don't know. I'm thinking about that one too, but I don't know. We'll see. You know, Father's Day Tyrese and St. Patty's Day Rosita could definitely benefit from Philip Blake's leader skill big time. So, that's why I'm thinking about it. Alright, we'll do one more so we can get the 10. I would be searching for harder opponents, but of course I'm doing the spoiler review, like I said, and I have a lot here. Like, I'll say, I won't say of what, but there's a conversation between 2 people in the episode. I have a whole page full of words, which is which is crazy. I didn't think I would have that full page, at least one side of a page, but I do. And there's no way I would have remembered. And most people in the show, they talk in French. But because Daryl, you know, he doesn't know France, you know, he doesn't know French, he doesn't speak French, you know, they also speak English as well, which is really convenient for him. But yeah, there's a conversation in French, and you know, I have it wrote down, but like one side of the notebook paper I have it writ on is completely covered. Like, I did not expect it to be fully, but yeah, I do have a lot to get to, so I think, you know what, let's go ahead and do it. Okay. Alright, we have it. We got it. Yeah, there we go. Molly coming in clutch. And also this week, you know, tomorrow I'm probably going to do the character review of Forsaken Michonne. Also, sometime this week, maybe this weekend, I want to get back to Batman Arkham Asylum. But, however, I am seeing Saw 10 this weekend, so that's gonna, you know, I'm gonna be able to get to it, but probably not when I want to. But maybe things will work out where I can get that out before I see that movie. Which, I mean, if you're a Saw fan, absolutely, I think this might be a really good one, but if you're not, I don't think this one is going to convince you, you know what I mean? Which I totally get it. But, hey, Saw's not for everybody. But I happen to be a fan of it. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited to see it this coming up weekend. So, I think it'll be pretty good. Especially Tobin Bell, Shawnee Smith coming back as John Kramer, and Amanda Young. I'm very interested to see what they do, how the movie will actually unfold fully. If you've seen the trailer, all I'll say is the people that are going to be in the traps, I feel like they deserve it 100%. Just, you know, go watch the trailer and you'll see what I mean. That's all I'll say about that. But yeah, that's going to do it for the raids. I'm getting ready to get into my spoiler review of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 1 Episode 3 Paris, Sera, Toujours, Paris. I hope I said that name correct, but the correct name of the episode will be in the thumbnail, like always. So, yeah, so if you don't want to know absolutely anything about episode 3, this is your time to go ahead and click off the video, and I do thank you for your time, and I'll catch you next time. Now, for those that want to stick around and hear what I have to say, I'm getting ready to start the spoiler review in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so one thing I did forget to mention in last week's review, because it'll be kind of important for a moment in this episode, but when Isabel was going to her apartment in the last episode, when that guy Quinn had taken her to her apartment, there was this little girl that was riding a scooter, and, you know, she was saying something to Isabel about my mother or my father didn't come home. I know that doesn't seem important, but anyway, Isabel like tells her to, you know, to get inside, to stay safe, and of course, just the little girl just watches Isabel leave as she's riding this little scooter. But anyway, it doesn't seem important, but it will be a little bit later. Okay, so the episode starts with Daryl, Isabel, Laurent, and the other nun's name is Sylvie. I think it's Sylvie. So, okay. Daryl, Isabel, Laurent, and Sylvie go to the town that Isabel wanted to go to because she has a contact there at this museum. Or was it a museum? I'm not really sure. But anyway, we're not going to be there all that long. The contact is a musician, and Daryl and Isabel go into the place to meet her contact, and, you know, she believes that he has a radio, and, you know, he does. So they go into this back room, and yeah, he does have a radio, but, however, he's pretty crazy because he has actually turned the radio into like a music player, like a record player, right? And, you know, like I said, he's crazy. And he starts up the record player, and he asked both of them, do they like a show? And I'm probably not going to be able to get through this part without laughing, because this is how crazy this part is. So he goes on stage, the contact that Isabel knows, and music is playing, and he's like orchestrating. But when Daryl and Isabel get to the auditorium, they see that he's orchestrating to a bunch of walkers that he has orchestrated to play instruments. One is playing the drums, one is playing. There's a walker head hanging upside down, playing the harp with his what teeth he's got left. Like, oh my goodness! I mean, you gotta see the scene, and yeah, the apocalypse has absolutely. I don't know if he was crazy before the apocalypse, but it seems like the apocalypse has definitely hurt his mental health. And he's like, you know, everybody likes music and all this crap. And yeah, so you got this really, you have this really bizarre setup where he's got all of these walkers set up. They're all playing different instruments. You got one just beating the drums with their hands. And like I said, you got a walker heads kind of swinging upside down, playing the harp with what little teeth he's got left. I mean, the whole setup is just absolutely insane, and like Daryl is like, yeah, we should have did my plan. We should have went with my plan, and Daryl, oh man, Daryl, yeah, they should have definitely listened to Daryl. And Isabel, she was like, well, it was worth a try, and to her defense, she didn't know he was crazy, or how crazy he, you know, how his mind had went. So they leave him. He's just playing the music and having the walkers beat on the instruments. Great. And Laurent and Sylvie are outside looking up, like wondering what the hell's going on. What's all that music for? It's not practical, not at all. And all it's doing is attracting the walkers nearby. This guy, he is stupid. He's crazy. So, okay, they leave. And then they leave the little town that they was going to, and Daryl's like, yeah, we're going straight to Paris. No ifs, ands, and buts about it now. So, yeah, they make it to Paris, and they end up walking through a graveyard, and Daryl recognizes there's a tomb of someone named Jim Morrison, or John Moore. No, I think it was Jim Morrison. Apparently, he was a rock star in America, and apparently he died in Paris, and he didn't know he died in Paris, so they keep walking through the graveyard, and there are these people that don't really have them surrounded, but they step out in front of them, and as far as having notes, I have like 3 different notes wrote down, but like one of them's like really long, and we'll definitely get to those people. This guy named Falou, I hope I'm saying his name correct, but Falou says, "What do you want?" And Isabel says, "Truth is hope. Who are you? Pierre Jean sent us." And then Falou sees Laurent, and he says the child is he the Messiah? That's what he means. And Pierre Jean, is he with you? Isabel says no. And then Falou looks at Daryl like suspicious, and Isabel says, he's our friend. He helped us get here. He doesn't speak French, only English. And then that's when Falou, he introduces them to his community. They have this little setup on like this rooftop. Well, it's a little bit bigger than that. Anyway, Falou, he introduces them to his community, and they do the works that they have. They have to do the works that any other group have to do. They have this little kitchen. They all share the daily tasks around the community, and then Daryl is led to believe that Falou and his people have a radio so he can contact America, because Daryl, he's in a rush to get out of there and get to America, so he has to say it like twice, and then Falou's like, okay, yeah, come on, let me meet you, let me take you to meet our comms guy. And well, they don't have a radio, but they have pigeon messengers. They attach messages to the pigeons and send them out. It kind of, the pigeon messengers kind of remind me of the Bowery King from John Wick 2, 3, and 4. That's what that kind of reminds me of, but it's a lot cooler in John Wick. But anyway, so yeah, Daryl's like, really? Pigeons? Daryl is like, really? Pigeons? He's like, alright, this shit ain't gonna cut it. Are they gonna, are Falou and his men gonna, take y'all the rest of the way to where y'all gotta get to? And she's like, yeah. He says, alright, I've done my part of the deal. I'm out of here. And then that's when Falou says that he knows a place that might be able to help Daryl out with a radio. But he also says that you're going to need currency in order to get information. And then that's when Daryl first says, if I have to steal something, I will, to get some currency. And Isabel says, no, you don't have to do that. There's no need to do that. I know a place where we can get some currency. So they are going to her old apartment once again because she has a stash full of, like, not necessarily money, but jewels and drugs, other stuff like that, that other people will count as currency to where they're going. So, okay, so yeah, they go to, Daryl and Isabel go to her old apartment to get the stash that's got the jewelry and all that other stuff they can use as currency to get information on a radio. And when they're there, Isabel, she has a picture of her sister Lily that she wants to give to Laurent because Laurent has never seen his mother before. So I guess she didn't, I don't know if she knew she still had that picture or not, but that's not like the main reason they were there. They were there to get the jewelry, currency for Daryl. So, okay, so she also gets the picture, and she's also searching to see if there's any clothes left of hers. So they end up leaving, and, okay, remember when I mentioned that little girl with the scooter that I forgot to mention in the second episode? So, yeah, the little girl ended up dying. She ended up becoming a walker because she is there outside as a walker, and she's stuck in these branches, and it looks like she's still on her scooter. So, yeah, she's definitely stuck. No, she's not stuck on her scooter, but, yeah, I don't know if she died, like, right away after Isabel had left her, but, yeah, she's a walker now, and Daryl says, I'll take care of it, and Isabel says, no, don't, I'll explain, and she pretty much says, she knew her before when everything was going down, and a little part of Isabel feels like a little guilty for leaving her, but she, at the time, she thought she was going to be safe. But seeing her walker, she feels a little guilty about that, so she doesn't want Daryl to do it. And then that's when these walkers come crashing out a window here, a window there from the top floor, but they're not the regular walkers. They're the burning walkers from, the one burning walker that burnt the hell out of Daryl's arm in the first episode. So, yeah, they're encountering the burning walkers, and their veins are, like, in the face are white, and they are moving, and, they're moving all weird-like, and you can just see, just smoke coming off of them, it seems like, after, once they hit the ground and as they're getting up. And Daryl, well, he obviously can't use the walker as a shield of some kind because, he'll get burnt. So he uses this stick with a knife weapon that he's been carrying. He uses it to stab one of the walkers, one of the burners, and there's these tree limbs that are in the way, and he uses the walker to burn the tree limbs away. Good thinking, Daryl, because of your first experience with the burner walker. And they end up busting through this glass, and they end up getting away, which I thought that was a pretty cool scene. Kind of terrifying a little bit. The fact that they can't really, toss them around like they used to be able to, and they get away. And now, before we go back to Daryl and Isabel and all of the rest, let's go to Cadron and Jeanette, which thankfully Cadron has an actual first name. Thank goodness. So, okay, so yeah, here is the, I have this note here where, like I said, I have a lot of words here between Jeanette and Cadron. So, Cadron and Jeanette meet for the first time. I just assumed they knew each other already, but no, Jeanette doesn't know who he is, and the point is they don't know each other. So this is the first time they're meeting, and Jeanette tells her men to leave us, and they do, and they close the door. So Jeanette goes to her desk and she's rolling up a cigarette, and she starts smoking the cancer stick cigarette. I like to call them cancer sticks, but anyway, she's smoking her made cigarette, and she tells Kadron to sit down, and then she says, "So, who are you?" "Stefan Kadron. I'm from Marseille." That's the place where the Abbey was and all of that from the first episode. "What brings you here, Kadron?" "A few years ago, a traveler came through and spoke of a movement in Paris. He said it would make the world right again. He gave me this tattoo and told me now I was a warrior for Jeanette, for you. Shall I thank you? You can thank me later for getting you what you want." "Ah, yes," they said. "The American," talking about Daryl Dixon, "but he must have drowned, no? I'll find him for you, and I'll prove myself useful to you here at Maison Meyer." I think that's what that says. And then Jeanette says, "And why should I trust you? Because I won't stop. I won't stop. I promised my parents when they died I'd look after my brother. This American made me a liar." And then that's when Jeanette says, "You're hired." So we find out a little bit more about what Kadron, or I'm going to call him Stefan, unless someone corrects me. But yeah, Stefan. So we find out a little bit more about what his motive is. I really like this episode. I think I do like it a lot more than episode 2, in my opinion. And then after Jeanette says, "You're hired, alright, you're cool." So they go into this one room where they're experimenting on a walker, and they have this walker. He's a skinny skin and bones walker, and they have him chained to the wall, both arms, and the chains look pretty intact. They don't look like rusted or old or anything, and this walker doesn't have his eyes, and he's just like a growling and really aggressive, and he's a pulling on the chains, and the walker actually pulls himself free. And then that's when these experiment scientists, they run out the room before he's able to get completely free. They shut the door, and he runs up against the glass, and there's like these little spotches of blood that are just smacking against the mirror. I mean, not the mirror, but against the glass where he just ran into. And yeah, like I said, these chains they don't look that old, they don't look super new, but they look like they were decent chains to hold someone. But he's able to just rip them off, rip himself free. So what kind of walker is that? It doesn't look like a burner for sure, because this walker doesn't have white veins in his face. Maybe they're going to make some kind of exploding zombie, maybe like a really fast zombie, or maybe one that will run into you. When he runs into you, maybe he melts you. I'm not really sure, but I'm really interested to find out. So we'll get back to Kadron in a little bit. Jeanette, that's pretty much her only appearance in the episode. So we're getting back to Daryl and Isabel. So they decide, after they get the currency, they're waiting for Laurent, Sylvie, Falou, and there's one other person whose name I forgot, to meet them at this place. And they're going to a nightclub. Yeah, there's an underground nightclub in the catacombs of France in Paris, which is really interesting. They go down there, they gotta surrender their weapons because the club owner doesn't allow anyone to have their weapons in the club. So they go into an actual nightclub. You got people dancing, and you got a bar, people having drinks, you know, it doesn't look like nothing's been bothering them. They just look like they're having a good old time down there. And then you have a singer singing in France, which honestly, that singer, I gotta say, I don't know any of the words that she was singing, but I'll be honest, she's a better singer than most American singers today. That's for sure. I'll leave it at that, but she was a pretty good singer. Don't know what she was singing, but I gotta say, it was better than most American singers right now. But yeah, anyway, so they are in this nightclub, and Falu's like, you know, I'm gonna go see if I can go find some friends that can help us out. You know, he says to Daryl that, you know, you helped us out, so we're going to help you out. Because, I mean, Falu and his people believe the whole Messiah nonsense, that Laurent is apparently a Messiah and he's going to revive humanity and all. You know, they believe that crap too. So, but yeah, so they're just hanging out, and then they find these people that are in the club, and they while they're waiting, you know, not Laurent, but Isabel, she sees this painting in the nightclub, and I just gotta say, I think that so far, the dynamic between Daryl and Isabel, I think it's really great. I really do. I really like their scenes together when it's just the two of them, when both of them are the focus of these particular moments. I think their scenes together are pretty great. I feel like it's gotten better between them two as far as like their dynamic, their like chemistry, just, you know, their ideal differences clashing, where Daryl doesn't believe all of this Messiah nonsense and she does. I just think it clashes, and yeah, definitely clashes. But anyway, there are these people that want this currency for information, and so yeah, just a bunch of stuff happens, and Daryl is like, yeah, at first he's wanting to get a radio so he can get back to America, and at first, you know, he's like he's accepting of it, but he is cautious. But then as they continue to conversate, he's like, I don't know about this. He's like, he's getting shady vibes from these people, at least the people that want the currency. And then that's when Daryl's like, no, okay, I've had enough. All right, let's get out of here, you know. And that's when this guy pulls a knife on Daryl. And during the conversation beforehand, someone is watching this conversation go down. And when the guy pulls the knife on Daryl, and Daryl just punches the shit out of him, disarming him really easily, honestly, that's when Quinn, that's the guy that Isabel took the car from in the flashback, yeah, he's alive, and Quinn is the leader of the club. And I was like, oh shit, really? Uh-oh, like... I wonder what he actually thinks of Isabel for leaving him on the side of the road to die. But yeah, he's the leader of this club, and he tells his man that had the knife on him, you know, what did I tell you? No weapons in the club. So he takes his knife and actually slices him on the cheek for bringing a weapon into the club. Like, wow. At least, I will say Quinn is at least fair. He's not like, in that particular instance, you know, he says that he doesn't want any weapons in the club, and that includes his own people. But I wonder if Quinn has an actual weapon. I don't know. He seems to honor that. I'm not really sure, but Quinn, I don't know. Okay, so after that's resolved, Daryl, Isabel, and Quinn go to his office so they can talk in private about getting Daryl a radio and getting a way to get back to America. And, you know, so they talk, and, you know, Quinn, I was losing my train of thought there for a second. Quinn, he wants to know about the boy because while they're talking out in the open, Laurent is watching the singer perform, like singing, and when she gets done, he tells her, oh, you're a very good singer or whatever, and she's like, oh, thank you or whatever, and she notices, not she, but Laurent actually notices she's wearing an Eiffel Tower necklace. So she's nice enough and gives Laurent the necklace because because Laurent, he says that I want to go there one day. So she's nice enough and gives Laurent the necklace, which I thought that was nice of her. So that's pretty much all on that. And then that's when Laurent comes over to Isabel, Daryl, and Quinn, which to Laurent, he doesn't know who Quinn is, and that's when Quinn says to Laurent, you have your mother's eyes, and then Isabel rushes Laurent away, and then that's when they go to his office soon after, and Quinn is like, when are you gonna, why are you gonna hide it from me? Why didn't you tell me? And Isabel says about Lily dying. He says about who that boy's father is, and she's like, what are you talking about? So apparently Quinn is Laurent's father. At some time, at some point or another before the apocalypse started, Quinn and Lily must have hooked up, and there you go. Laurent was born. So that's kind of interesting. Not even Isabel knew. Which, obviously she asked Lily, but she didn't say anything because she was too busy dying. But anyway, so that was an interesting revelation that Quinn and Laurent are related, which I honestly didn't expect that. I honestly didn't. And, Daryl, up to before this point, he's absolutely in a rush to get out of there, to get back to America, but he's getting, he's not too, what's the word I'm looking for? He's getting bad vibes from Quinn, so he has a sudden change of heart at the moment. And he's like, you know what, Isabel, let's get out of here. I don't need a boat that bad. So they end up leaving. Daryl's like, this is not worth it, because he sees that Quinn is making Isabel uncomfortable. So he's like, you know what, I do want to get out of here. I want to get back to America, but I don't want it this bad. Let's go. You know what I mean? And then that's when Quinn, he looks all pissed off at, just because he couldn't get his way, I guess. And so they end up leaving, and they go back to Falu's hideout. Then sometime later, Stefan and a couple of Jeanette's men end up coming to that nightclub because they heard that Daryl Dixon was there at the nightclub. Now, how they found out, I don't know. Perhaps there is an inside mole that revealed that information, more than likely. So, they're not there that long. They just wanted to find out where Daryl Dixon went. And so, I'm sure he ends up telling them, because we go a little bit, we're going toward the end of the episode, and it's nighttime, it's thundering and storming during this part, and, that's when Daryl is actually packing up his stuff. He's actually legit leaving, and Isabel says, a part of me is going to miss you, and, Laurent, she says Laurent's going to want to know where you went. And Daryl, he says, just make up something. You always do. Which I thought that was kind of like, okay, he's calling you out on your BS. And Daryl pretty much says to Isabel, you need to stop your lying. He needs to know the truth. You just can't, no, Isabel says, after Daryl says that, you need to tell him the truth, you need to stop lying to him about who he thinks he is, that's when Isabel says, you just can't accept how special he is. And then that's when he says, maybe you just can't accept the fact that kid got really lucky and just lived. Maybe he just wants to be a normal kid. Dropping some truth bombs on Isabel. And then that's when I believe, and hopefully, that's when all of this Messiah crap gets nipped. Because Laurent wakes up and hears them arguing, and then that's when he yells in France, I hate you both. And I was like, okay, please let this whole Messiah stuff be done. I'm like, hopefully, I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed that now Laurent, he knows what's up, that Isabel's been lying to him the whole time, ever since he's been born. So honestly, Laurent should not be mad at Daryl. He should be mad at Isabel more so. Laurent absolutely needed to know the truth at one point or another. And I'm glad they did it in this episode, right? I'm glad they didn't wait until the season finale to do that. So potentially this whole Messiah stuff is now going to be scrapped, which I'm hoping, because it needed to be scrapped. I'm glad they didn't drag it out. You know what I mean? So hopefully we can move on from that, that's going to be great. And then, soon after that, that's when Cadron and Jeanette's men storm Falou's hideout. Daryl goes running. Laurent, he's running off somewhere because he's pissed off at Daryl and Isabel. And then Daryl ends up on the rooftop, and that's when Stefan, I'm going to call him Stefan, that's when Stefan chases him, and they end up getting into a fist fight, and Daryl nearly chokes out Stefan. I was like, is he really going to kill Stefan in this episode? I was like, no way, really. He's actually having the upper hand on Stefan. He's choking him out, and then that's when Jeanette's men come, and they start shooting at Daryl. So Daryl has to run. He ends up getting away briefly before the roof is starting to crumble around his feet, and Daryl falls through, and yeah, that's how the episode ended. So as far as the pace of episode 3, this episode was a little bit quicker than episode 2 for sure, and I actually quite enjoyed episode 3 a lot more than episode 2. Episode 2 wasn't bad, but I just feel like episodes 1 and 3 have been better so far. And like I said, I'm glad that Laurent finally knows the truth, and that, hey, somebody had to step up and say something, even if he wasn't meant to hear that at that exact time. He should absolutely, Laurent should absolutely be pissed off at Isabel more so than Daryl. But, he is a kid, so he doesn't, know that yet. He is knowledgeable up there. He's, he knows a lot of, knowledge stuff, obviously. But, as far as being wrong, as far as being mad at who lied to him, he just assumes, he just hates both of them at the time. But, he's a kid, he doesn't, we'll have to see how that develops. So, yeah, so that's the end of the episode, pretty much. And then again, the moments that Daryl and Isabel got to, when the scenes were center focused on them two, those scenes were really great. Is this better than the premiere? I don't know, but episodes 1 and 3 are absolutely the best of this so far. Episode 2 is again, it's not bad, but I just feel like episodes 1 and 3 are just a little bit more superior, in my opinion. And I really liked this episode, and we got to learn a little bit more about Stefan's motivation, and we got to see a little bit more about the walkers being experimented on. I'm sure there will probably be more of that, which I'm going to find really interesting and fascinating, and I can't wait to see more. So, yeah. If you have seen this episode, what are your thoughts on this third episode? Did you like it better than episode 2? I definitely liked episode 3 better than 2 for sure. And then the pace felt quicker compared to episode 2. And yeah, if you have any thoughts about this show, or or anything else about the show, just, feel free to let me know, and let me know what your thoughts are on The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon so far. I'm absolutely loving it, more so than Dead City at this point. I think since we're at the halfway point, I feel like this is a better half than Dead City's first half was, in my opinion. But I'd be interested to see if y'all think the same thing. And yeah, I don't have much else to add, so that's going to do it for this one. I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by and for your continued support. Or if you're new, welcome in for the first time. All of you are very awesome, and I thank you again. And don't forget to hit the bell and switch on all notifications so you know the second I upload to YouTube. I am Beak, and I'm gonna go fly away back to my nest. Until next time, bye guys.